Sometimes art is prophetic, and sometimes I don't know how to offset it. The words too authentic to constantly do what I do and augment it. Y'all talk a big game, can't tell if y'all meant it. If seconds turns to minutes, the ticking will tell all. Will you hold firm or steadily fall? Will you conform with the ways of the world, or will you give the world everything that you are? Make them fuckers move around you, kinda like sound do. Break out of everything that they had you bound to. You got knocked down, ho, get ready for round two. It's round two, get ready for round two. Come back, run rap, run laps around these cats, jump back, kiss myself, still keeping me intact. Weird and black, they for that, hold up, steer it back. Weird and black, they revere that, yup, you hear that?
Turnstile, switch it up. Young nigga raised hard, he learned not to give a fuck. Young nigga came far, still never give enough. Coming with the flavor, delicious, so she lick it up. Bust down, stick it up, I put it down, so pick it up. Scud town, saviors, done some till he shift to musk. Stench so stank that the shit compares soft to us. Crud so dank, make your face smudge dripping, cuz club go shake when the bass gets to hitting ya. They ain't really hearing us, but they gon' feel something when the way is paved clear enough. I don't fear nothing but the fate is God's real or not. Well, fuck it, got the world in my hands, and that's real enough. Fuck it, got the world in my hands, gold forms to touch. Might just spend it all one time to give it all to us. Yeah, give it all to us.
Yeah. This that hip-hop body, rock, hardcore, karate, chop, neo-Nazi, nasty, not feel it in my chest. How could you wear that name? Must be automatic shame. He's an automatic lame, heard it from the best. Fresh flow, let's go, plus I got a lot of heart. It's necessary when you dabble in this art. Grab canvas, paint picture, use them acrylics, paint a picture so vivid, the people gotta feel it like the Kaaba. Lyrics bear fruit like guava, words spilling out of my brain like lava. Spills out the top of a volcano, and they know that A-Right is not the one to play. No, I'm Kano in Mortal Kombat, cause the lyrics like blades. Aim it at your juggler when I'm on stage, until you heard me spit, homie, you ain't heard rage. On another chapter, so turn a turn. Okay, got that out my system. A-Right on another planet, dog, you must have missed them. When I do it how I do, it's of my own volition. Go make my destination even in the worst condition. I cruise the Blues Brothers, cause you know we on a mission. Eternity of roses I make bumping in your system. I mean, banging it, and I'm still hanging it. And I got a gang of wisdom, I got a gang of rhythms, I got a lot of soul. I found the pot of gold, I'm wrapping that shit up, gon' sell it to the globe. I got some game to give them, they don't really want, but they really need it. And I want you to succeed, I want you to be free. I want you to remove every obstacle from being what you truly wanna be. I truly wanna see, and I can only lead by example. So here's a sample from me, so get up.
one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
2 touchdowns a game?
Yes, in the game.
You're tripping.
How you high? No,
Greatest
high
Super Bowl time.
I don't know what we're doing in the front office, man. Twiddling our fucking dick.
Ryan, I just need you to drink this.
Wide receiver trivia. That's what she said.
Her.
What the fuck?
Her upset.
Are those crutches?
You can see Ryan's crutches. What is going on, folks? Welcome back to After Further Review. This is episode 145. I am your co-host, Jalen Brown.
I'm everybody's favorite co-host, Malin.
And I'm your other great co-host, not from Colombia, Nestor.
Not from currently in,
I'm
maybe not
just
sure.
some old drunk guy that they found that they needed a fill-in for.
We found him in Vegas.
Yeah. He's the best souvenir. Folks, welcome back to another great episode of the show. We do have G Money on, as you can see, so thanks for G Money joining us for the full episode this week. Yeah, we've got another week full of shenanigans to get into. It's kind of weird being back in the studio.
I know, it's been a minute.
Yeah, we've been doing this fully remote for the last month or so. So, yeah, but give us a second to get back in our usual rhythm. But besides that, you guys know how the show goes. So, yeah, let's open up with a nice cheers.
Sports and debauchery.
Right.
There we go.
Cheers to family.
There you go.
Cheers to family.
This man's been married for 2 weeks. Now he's turning into Vin Diesel. It's about to go buy a Dodge Charger and steal a Volt. Oh my God.
This dead parrot. It's really good.
I know, I love it. So how is married life? It's been a minute there, Nestor.
I have been challenged.
Challenged? It's been like 2 weeks.
Yes.
You already
I went
shot
to
your wife in a duel?
I went to Cartagena and had a few things happen that tested me, but I came through.
This man in 90 seconds, I thought he just told me he already shot his wife in a duel and had to get tested for STDs. I was like, what?
Met some friends in Cartagena. I don't have your wife. No
I was
clue.
tested.
This man.
Oh,
Well,
man.
the pictures you shared looked amazing, and we are happy for you. So
Appreciate
Yes.
it, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Now I just need to go back to the U.S.
what, in like a year? Jalen already told
I'm
me.
just kidding. I'm in Tampa.
Yeah.
There he is. Folks, if you don't watch us live every Wednesday night, we do stream on YouTube every single Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you click the first link in your podcast description below, you'll be taken to the replay of this episode. And now you know that 9:30 is when we record the show live on YouTube every Wednesday night Eastern Time. So be sure to come on out and watch us live. You can hop in the live chat and join the discussion as it's happening. So check your podcast description. But with that being said, let's get into the first topic of this week's show. So we are continuing our NFL divisional predictions. So we're going to move on to the NFC South. Did the AFC South last week. This is probably, along with the AFC South, the worst division in the NFL. So I figured we get these two kind of out of the way first.
Yeah. Get rid of the riffraff first.
Right. This one, to me, seems a bit more like a dumpster fire than the AFC South. At least you have the Jaguars in the AFC South. But here, there is not one clear winner. So, yeah, is there a team you guys would prefer to start with?
I mean, they all suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Let's start with New Orleans.
And it sucked this year.
Yes, and that's very true. let's start with the Saints. And the way we're just going to do this is we'll each give our record prediction for that team and kind of why. We don't have to go game by game, but if you want to highlight any particular games and, you know, how the roster is maybe built, up to you. But we will start with the Saints. And Malin, would you like to go first?
Sure, I can go first on this one. It was hard for me to find 7 games that I thought the Saints were going to win.
Yeah.
And I feel like the only reason why I can get to 7 games is I got them going 7-10. Is because you got Derek Carr. I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. I mean, he's going to be well rested. I don't know if he went out and had any more kids because he's like the Brady Bunch right now. But I think he's going to have. I think he's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder. You always. I'm done thinking about Michael Thomas being a viable person in the NFL ever again. I'm done. Like the last time he was relevant, Jimmy Graham was relevant.
Yep.
But Alvin Kamara is still that one person on the squad that makes me think, man, maybe, probably not. Probably going to get suspended. But they still got Olave, I think. Cam Jordan is still there holding up the defense. And it is a weak division. So that's why I'm still going 7 games. But it hurts because I'm not saying that with any sort of like conviction. Like, yeah, definitely 7. It's 7 like they could win 3. They potentially could, but we're going 7. So.
Do you have any noteworthy wins on their schedule?
Okay, so when I was looking at their schedule, they were not playing Miami, so there wasn't anything noteworthy about that one.
Okay.
No freebies.
But I have just about everybody beating Houston. In the division, I think the Bucks might be the only one that doesn't beat Houston.
Damn.
But I mean, they do got a little bit of a weird road like the second half of the year after their bye week because you got 2 divisional games with Atlanta, which I think is another kind of middling team like them. So those games could go either way. I am a believer in Detroit this year, at least getting close to double digits.
Yeah.
And then the Giants. I don't know what they're going to look like in week 15, but it was just really hard for me to find any wins. I do think I did have them beating Green Bay and New England. I'm sorry about that.
It's messed up.
But you guys should have picked up Hop. Maybe you could have. So, but yeah.
All right, so 7-10 from Malin. Nestor, let's go to you next.
I have them at 9-8.
Okay.
I don't trust Derek Carr. I think, if anything, I was thinking in the beginning of the season they might look good and then they're just spiraled downward. But then as I was doing the schedule, like, they're kind of just like winning one game, losing the other. I think that the Panthers are going to beat them week 2. Last season, we saw how that went with the Panthers. I think the Panthers got them in their pocket. Apart from that, they'll have like a surprise loss against the Bucks week 4 because I don't see them beating Green Bay, beating the Bucks, then beating the Panthers. I don't know. Week 4 they're gonna lose to the Bucks. Week 5 I see them losing against the Patriots. I think he's gonna get outcoached. Belichick is the better coach, and yeah, that's basically why. Apart from that, no other notable wins or losses, honestly. But like I said, I don't trust. I know that their defense is decent. It's good. But I just don't trust Derek Carr, and I think Cameron's gonna get suspended. There's just too many variables. So, yeah.
All right, so 9-8 from Nestor. G Money.
I've got them going 7-10. I think Carr is an improvement over Dalton. Kamara will get suspended. The question is how many games? Because what the NFL was waiting was for the court case to be over while he pleaded no contest to assault and paid the victim $100,000. So now the NFL just has to decide, is it going to be a 2-game suspension? Is it going to be a 3-game? It's going to be 6 games. How many games are they going to suspend him? Because he will get suspended, and it will be this season. As Malin said about wide receivers, I mean, I don't know if Michael Thomas could stay healthy, which doesn't seem to be happening. They've got 2 good receivers with him and Olave, but you know, offensively, you can't see it. I mean, you're gonna have Jamal Williams as a starting running back more than likely with Kamara getting suspended. I like their defense. The defense is pretty solid. As far as upsets go or wins, you know, I look at them beating the Rams in December because I don't think the Rams are that good at all. And I'm not sure how well Matthew Stafford's elbow is. And everything we're hearing from the Giants is that if Barkley doesn't get a new deal, he's sitting out the whole season, which personally would be a mistake because if Shaq were here, he'd tell us about Pittsburgh and what happened there when you sit out a whole season, then you go to another team and you just you don't perform. I think the same thing's going to happen here, is that with Barkley, he has to, for the Giants to be good, he has to play. If he's not playing, I think the Saints can beat them easily. Other than that, you know, and there's no big teams out there. You look and you go, man, they could beat that team. I mean, I don't see them beating Minnesota. I don't see them beating Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is going to be a lot better than it was last year. And unfortunately, I didn't get my picks in for last week, but Jacksonville, I think, is going to win the AFC South. But I don't see. God, this is a dumpster fire. This whole division it's just a dumpster fire.
One quick thing. Did I say 9-8?
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
No, it was 8-9. My bad. I'm looking at the
G-Money
website you gave me.
G-Money talked him right out of a W. He had him beating the Giants. He had them beating the Giants, and then he was like, "No, Barkley might not be. Barkley might not be playing." And Michael Thomas is gonna, break a toenail or something at some point, so he's gonna miss a few games.
Oh, it's
always a toe.
Yes, I don't know why that is, but so I've got them going 6-11.
Damn.
So Nestor's the most optimistic.
Right.
There you go, Nestor. It's because he's newly married. Everything's rainbows and sunshine.
Everything looks good.
Yeah.
Everything tastes good. You know.
Yikes. Yikes. Damn.
I'm optimistic about everything.
Yeah, wait for a year.
So the Saints. Yeah, I've got them going 6-11. I don't really have any big upsets here. They really don't. They have kind of a sleeper schedule anyway. Like there's not interesting games here. I do also have them beating the Giants in week 15. I think that's going to be like their kind of like win of this, like big win of the season. Outside of that, though, not much going on with the Saints. I think on the offensive side of the ball, Kamara will probably be suspended for some time. Michael Thomas, I'm tired of hearing about him. Outside of that, it's kind of like what else do they really have to work with, like big name wise. And then on the defense side of the ball, I mean, they're good. They've got a bend, don't break kind of a defense. But, the defense can only stand up for so long in today's offense or today's NFL when the offenses are just so fast. So, yeah, I think they'll win about 6 games. I am kind of disappointed, though, that we didn't get them playing the Broncos this year because I wanted to see a Sean Payton going up against his old team. I don't know, maybe next year, but
That'd been nice.
Yeah,
Quick
6-11.
question,
Yeah.
What happens week 2? I'm curious. What happens week 2 and week 5 for the Saints?
I have them losing to the Panthers and
Yeah.
losing to the Patriots.
Oh,
Okay. Cool. Good. Awesome.
I don't know why he was so keyed in on those two games.
I don't know.
Is there a bet
Nah, I just
going?
wanted to know if he thinks they're gonna beat the Patriots.
Oh, okay.
Oh, come on now. All right. Let's move on to let's do Atlanta next. You can go ahead, Malin.
Okay. Atlanta is a lot like New Orleans. They're middle of the road. They're not terrible, but they're not great. I have them going 7-10 again. Mainly because when I was looking at like when I was looking at their schedule, like it looked like identical to what the Saints were playing. So I mean, they got a little bit of a pass because they're playing a team like Arizona. That's going to be a guaranteed win for them. I mean, they're all playing Indianapolis and Chicago. It seems both of these teams. So
Yeah.
I've given them wins for that one. Houston, I don't see Houston pulling out a win there. I don't have the Bucks winning very many games. We'll talk about them in a little bit. So I got them up to 7, and I know that they only got what's his name, Ritter at quarterback right now, that second-year pro.
Oh yeah,
But
that's right.
they do got zero alcohol Heineken playing backup.
Yes, sir.
Yes, they do.
My man. So, with him, Bijan Robinson, and, everyone's favorite disappointment in fantasy football at the tight end position, Pitts. Someone's going to pick him in the first
I
couple
had him.
rounds and be disappointed.
That's all I know about that.
Whoever picks him up is disappointed every single year because you expect more. But I don't know. I just see average, and so I was able to get up to 7. I was
Okay.
trying not to. I was trying like not to talk myself into wins, and I was able to get to 7.
Okay, Nestor.
Oh, and they play Washington, and I want Heineke to play that game on October
That would be
15th.
awesome.
God, that'd be wonderful. Go ahead.
So I actually got them at 9-8. That's not an error this time. 9-8. I think they. I mean, I wouldn't say they got some defensive stars, but they reinforced a little bit. They addressed a little bit their issues with their defense. But something that they're not going to be able to address, I feel, is how inefficient they are at using their tight end and just Drake London. They talk about this like these. I forgot who the other guy is, but they got like this 3 players are so good and they're gonna do whatever, and then just I don't know, they just fall apart. Are they still using Mariota as their QB?
No, he's gone.
He's gone.
It's Desmond
He's
Ritter
gone, right?
now.
Okay, cool. I don't think much is gonna change. I feel like they're not notable wins or losses, but like a good game will be that first week against the Panthers that they're gonna win, and there's gonna be some hype building around that. But I feel like for the division, not for them, but I feel like the next game they play against the Panthers, they're gonna lose.
Okay.
Okay.
They're gonna do the same thing they did last season. They're gonna fall apart. So yeah.
Well, I'm sure Atlanta fans are happy to hear that.
I mean, they were the best 0-2 team in football for a while.
They were.
Yeah, they were. They were.
I remember they beat our Seahawks while I was in attendance in Seattle. That kind of pissed me off.
Shut your mouth.
That pissed me off.
Your mouth. Yeah. I've decided now that you're not going to another Seahawks football game with me because every time you've gone to a football game with me, the Seahawks have lost. So I'm blaming you for that.
That's also the other way
I swear it's
around.
your fault.
Every other game I've been to, they've won.
Yeah, but I thought of it first. So therefore, my thought is correct.
I don't know. I was 5-0 going to games in Tampa until you guys showed up back in 2016.
Maybe you guys should just get different seats in different areas. Maybe that'll help. G Money, go ahead.
I got Atlanta going 8-9. I like their running backs. We look at Algiers, Patterson, and the kid they took out of Texas.
Bijan?
They've got a solid group of Bijan. They've got a solid group of running backs there. So they're not going to have Ritter throw as much. I don't think he's going to have to put the ball up, 30 times a game. If you can keep Ritter tossing the ball 20, maybe 25 times a game, you can throw. Patterson's shown that he can catch the ball out of the backfield. And he was like, I believe, their second leading receiver last year. And who knows, maybe Pitts can catch the ball. And they've got Drake London. I mean, it's about the only receiver they do have. But no, I look at them, I see them, obviously I have them beating Carolina in the first game and then losing to Green Bay and Detroit and Jacksonville and then beating Houston and Washington. There's no notable wins here because most of the teams that they're beating are as bad or not worse than them, at least right now on paper. So there's nobody. They're not beating in Minnesota. They're not beating the Jets. They're not beating Green Bay and they're not beating Detroit. And the rest of the teams, or Jacksonville for that matter, the rest of the teams are pretty similar to them. So I figure that they could win 8.
Okay. I've got them going 5-12. G Money brought up a pretty good point that a lot of the teams that they're playing are very similar to them. The only 5 wins, I've got them beating the Texans. I actually have them upsetting the Vikings.
Wow, okay.
I think that'll be their. I think that will be their win of the season. And then they'll be so high up that they'll come out the next week and lose to the Cardinals. I've got them beating the Saints, the Bucks, and the Colts.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I think Robinson will be their kind of the highlight of the year. Like they'll find a really good offensive weapon in him. Pitts, I think he'll have a solid year. Kind of redeem himself at least a little bit from last year. And Drake London will keep doing his thing, but the kind of catalyst here is going to be Ritter. It's seeing how he looks. Not gonna lie, up until like 2 weeks ago, I didn't even know who was their quarterback. So. Should be interesting.
He was the guy that led Cincinnati to the playoffs.
Makes sense. All right, let's go to Carolina next, and you can go ahead, Malin.
I like how we're saving the worst for last. It's good. Makes me feel really excited to talk about it. All right, Carolina Panthers. If there is a darling of the NFC South this year, they are still trying to pick up tips on the street corner. But that would be the Carolina Panthers. I have them going 10-7. I think that with Bryce Young, I think that he has a chance of doing good things. I think he's going to have plenty of bad games, but he's going to have some good games.
Right.
I think Adam Thielen is going to become a really good security blanket for him. I think that he got forgotten because of just how good Justin Jefferson was.
Yeah.
But he was able to hold his own with Stephon Diggs on the other side when they were playing together in Minnesota. So I think he's going to be a really good security blanket for Bryce Young. If you want to talk about like highlight wins, I definitely see them winning Week 6 against Miami. The
Terrible.
Mark your calendar.
But no, I mean, I see them beating Atlanta. I see them beating Miami. I see them beating New Orleans, except once. They're going to rip off, I think, three straight wins against Houston, Indianapolis, Chicago. They're going to win probably 2 out of 3 when it comes to Dallas, Tennessee, and Tampa Bay. And they end the season with, Atlanta, Green Bay, Jacksonville, and Tampa Bay. I see them like winning 2 of those 4. But like I said, I think there's just a lot more winnable games for them than the other teams.
Nestor.
I have them 9-8. I believe I have them clinching the division. They're gonna be 5-1 in their division. Reason being, like I said last season, they lost to Atlanta in overtime. But everywhere else, like they beat them the next time, 25-15. They beat the Saints twice. I think they know this division well. They hustle better than the other teams. Like I said, week 1 they lose against Atlanta, and then they just wake up from that and they beat the Saints week 2. They beat the Seahawks like 40-10. Week 3. I'm kidding. I actually had them losing as the Seahawks. But after that, they lose against my Miami Dolphins week 6. But they'll have a healthy bye week, and then they'll beat the Texans. They'll beat the Colts. They'll beat Chicago. So, yeah, I see them doing really good and clinching the division.
All right, G-Money.
I got them going 5-12.
God damn.
I don't know where they got stronger. Andy Dalton will be their starting quarterback, at least for the first couple of weeks. We already know from his time in New Orleans and his time in Dallas, he's mediocre. He's a place warmer, is what he is this stage in his career. That's all he is. I see Bryce Young being like any other rookie quarterback, probably running more than throwing, not being quite as accurate as he can be. I just don't see him carrying them to a lot of wins. Running back wise, they picked up Miles Sanders from the Eagles, but the Eagles' O-line was a hell of a lot better than the Panthers. And as far as the Panthers' defense go, there's questions whether or not both their starting cornerbacks, their strong safety, and their linebacker are going to be ready, since they're all coming off of injuries, for the first week or 2 of the season. So, I don't see it. I don't see where they got in the draft or in free agency where they got better than what they were last year. Now, Bryce Young could turn out to be a really good quarterback, but I don't see it this year. Maybe next year. Usually it's like year 2, year 3, where you start seeing your rookie quarterback start growing and understanding the game. And he actually catches up to the speed of the game. And considering some of the teams that are going to be playing with their defenses, you have to wonder how many hits can he take and how healthy will he be. Miami has a really good defensive line. I'm hoping we have a really good defensive line. The Saints have a good defensive line. Detroit does. We'll see what Houston does with its draft picks. Dallas has a really solid defense. So does Tennessee. So does even Tampa has a good defense. Their offense isn't so good at quarterback, but we'll get to them next.
Yes,
but yeah.
we will.
5-12.
I am more optimistic, like Mainland and Nestor. I've got them going 10-7. I'm thinking, like, from what I've heard about J.C. Horn's injury, like he should be back in time for like training camp. It doesn't sound serious enough that he'll need like a surgery or anything like that. So, as long as he comes back healthy, that's a key part of their defense right there. And I think that Andy Dalton we'll see him week 1, probably like the first month or so. And they're probably going to get beat up a bit that first month. They're going to get the brakes beaten off them by Seattle and Minnesota. And then come like Detroit or Miami around there, I think, the Panthers fans, they're going to want to see him come in. So
That's
right
when
around
the
the
Bryce
bye
Young show is going to start against Miami.
Yes.
No, don't manifest that, please. No.
That'd be amazing.
He's already stressed. Like training camp hasn't even broken. He's already counting wins and losses like they're
You
real.
guys are making this real.
He's like,
Some other notable
You guys have a
wins.
solid defense, though. I mean, I just don't see Bryce Young by himself beating Miami. Miami's defense, at least on paper, right now, is one of the better defenses.
Yeah, I don't
all
have
like
them
to hear.
beating Miami.
Yeah.
I see it just because of the fun factor.
It would be cool.
It's the main reason.
Good people.
Jeez.
But yeah, besides that, just because of the schedule that they do have from basically their bye week on is just pretty easy for them, and there's a ton of winnable games after that. So yeah, I think they'll win the division with 10 wins. Yeah, so let's move on into the of course the favorite of this division, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Malin, what do you have for them?
Oh, the creamsicle sucking ears. I love it. I have to go on 4-13. That's what I have. They're going to beat Chicago, Atlanta one time, Houston, and Indianapolis. If we're wanting to know why, yes, they still have Mike Evans. But when the best player on their team is talking more about individual stats that he wants to reach versus win another Super Bowl, he doesn't think the team's very good. He's more concerned about breaking Jerry Rice's consecutive 1,000-yard seasons to start a career than he is about going to the playoffs next year. Defense, still solid, but it's still another year older with people like Levante David and stuff. And you've still lost some people in the interior. I don't think they have. Do they still have Leonard Fournette? I don't know if they have Leonard Fournette. If they do, they'll probably cut him or trade him.
No, they don't. He's
no, they
actually
don't.
Talking with the Patriots right now.
Oh,
Fantastic.
there you go.
Don't get D-Hop, we'll get Leonard.
But the main reason, I mean, let's be honest, Baker Ball, right? We got Baker Mayfield. More than likely going to be the starting quarterback for the majority of the season. They got Kyle Trask, I think his name is, out of Florida. He was a second or third round pick, fourth round pick the year before. But I don't know, like when I think of like the over under on games that Baker Mayfield's probably going to start, probably 10. I think he'll probably start about 10 games. You already hear everybody right now in the media, all the players, we just love the way he gets after it. He's a leader. We'd run through a wall for him. I'm like, you're going from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield.
Right.
I don't know what hallucinogens they are hopping you guys up for before they put you on a podium, but let's be honest. So I don't know. They were a bad team before Tom Brady. They're going to be a bad team after Tom Brady.
Yeah. That's what it breaks down to when you put it simply. Go ahead, Nestor.
Bucks, not much. I have them at 5-12. They beat Chicago. They beat Atlanta once. They beat the Texans. They beat Tennessee. They beat San Francisco. Just kidding. And they beat the Saints. They get a weird win against the Saints week 4. That's about it. But yeah, Baker Mayfield isn't gonna do much, and I'm interested in seeing who's gonna lead them at QB. Like, is it gonna be? Because this man, like, between Trask and Baker Mayfield, that's a dumpster fire. Like, like, you know, I don't know. You just don't know.
So you really think the Bucks are going to go into New Orleans and win Week 4? They never win in New Orleans. I don't think Tom Brady won in New Orleans, did he?
I think besides that one playoff,
I think he was 0-3 in the regular season.
Right, regular season.
He won the playoff game, but I think he was 0-3 in the regular season.
It's the house of horrors.
I mean, Jameis Winston was eating fingers on the sideline of New Orleans, trying to eat that W.
If Jameis couldn't get it done, forget about it. No, nobody can.
The Bucks.
G Money.
I got them going 6-11, and a lot of that has to do with their defense more than anything else. I think Baker can win them a game or two. I mean, he should just say, "Hey, I don't need no fucking playbook. Look what I did for the Rams the first game I showed up. In fact, let me go back to Cleveland and I'll fly down here right before the game. I don't need to practice." But I
just gotta watch his house.
Yeah, I gotta make sure no one's pissing on the lawn. I don't see them being bad, but they're not going to be good. And 6-11 is good enough to get them probably the 7th pick in the draft, 7th or 8th pick in the draft, and maybe just enough so they can blow it on a quarterback someone hasn't heard of.
They better not draft Michael Penix.
Oh, and by the way, their head coach will get fired probably before the end of the season, because people have unrealistic expectations for that team. And once Tom Brady retired, that was it. I mean, he gave them 2 good years, because last year really wasn't a good year. They made the playoffs, but at 8 and 9, what was nothing to write home about. And they never bothered to. Well, they got Task out of Florida, but I don't know if they thought that Tom Brady was going to stay around for a few more years, drink from that fountain of youth, whatever. But they mortgaged their future for that Super Bowl and those 3 playoff runs. That was it. That's what they did. And now they're going to end up having to pay for that probably for the next 4 or 5 years.
Do you guys think it was worth it?
Yeah.
You're a team with 1 Super Bowl. Would you do that? Would you mortgage 5 bad years for 3 good years, knowing you're going to win 1 chip?
Yeah, I think that's worth it in the end, especially for a team like them that was so historically bad. That's like, I'll take that.
I would too. Just kind of pisses me off they have 2 and my Seahawks have 1. Nah.
That's a shame.
It is.
Goddamn shame. I've got them going 4-13, and throughout the first month, I've got them winning 1 game. That's at home against the Bears. I think they're just going to get beat up that first month. They've got Minnesota, Philly on a Monday night, and at New Orleans. Good luck. So the other 3 wins are Atlanta. Hold on a second. Atlanta, New Orleans, late in the season, and where is this? Oh, like I said, the Bears. So, yeah,
you got Houston beating them, huh?
Yeah, I've got Houston beating them at home. I think they'll take care of their business, but yeah.
You got like 1 win every 4 games.
Right. Just enough to keep the Bucks fans something to come watch. Yeah, I think they're in for a rough year. I don't have much more to add to that. But hey, Bucks fans, you got your Tampa Bay titles throughout the town.
God.
What more else do you need? Yeah, so that's the NFC
Well, hell,
South.
they can trade for Kyler Murray come next season when
That's true.
the Arizona Cardinals have the number 1 and number 2 pick in the draft, and they take Caleb Williams out of USC.
I kind of like him having Baker Mayfield though.
Yeah.
I want him just to be just good enough to warrant like a 2-year extension. Like I want him. I don't want him to be so bad that they get rid of him. I want him just to be
Right.
decent enough to where like maybe we could win with this guy.
Right.
And then I sign him to a 2-year deal, and then let's just keep the train rolling with mediocrity. It's my plan.
You're calling them
best
the
case
Indianapolis
scenario.
of the South.
Yeah.
Let's see what other
Let's just rotate
old
quarterbacks.
veteran that hasn't done anything in a while can do for us.
And get Matt Ryan next year.
There you go.
Phillip Rivers can come out of retirement.
Hey, he's going to need to because his wife just had another kid. I think it was like number 10 or number 11.
Oh my.
Or he could do what Carolina did for a number of years, is just get a bunch of former like first round picks. They can get like Zach Wilson.
There we go.
He's talking about Kyler Murray. Now Kyler Murray, they're probably gonna they release a Call of Duty every year like around October. So you got 1 month with Kyler Murray being decent.
Yeah.
But like every October they always release in October, November. That's why they're always so bad the second half of the year.
Nosedives.
I mean, be nice. Just shovel through mediocrity with them. It'd be great. I mean, they're bringing back the creamsicle jerseys.
Oh, yes.
Personally, I think the Seahawks have a much better retro jersey coming out this year. Hence why I'm wearing the shirt right now, because this royal blue,
right,
evergreen green is a hell of a lot better than the creamsicle and Bucky Bruce.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you really want to, I don't know. I think they went 2 years in a row without winning the game in those jerseys. So the more they win those, the merrier. That'd be good.
Yes.
It's better than the alarm clock jerseys they wore before Tom Brady came back, but
yeah.
Not much better. Though.
Yeah, the Bucks have had some interesting jerseys these past few years. But with all of that being said, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we are going to hit our community comments, which is who you guys think is going to be winning this division. And then we're going to round the show out with what's up with that. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Sit tight. Welcome back to the show, folks. Welcome back. I actually kept us muted there for a few seconds just to make sure we could make a smooth transition back. We usually have music coming back in, but that time we just had soothing sounds of G Money coming back in. Yeah, second half of the show, folks. We're going to take our second half. Cheers. Cheers to you, Malin. Oh, Jim want to grab a beer now.
Have himself a beer.
There we go. Okay. So before we hit the community comments, if you are not following us on social media, it's right above us there. That's at AFR Sports on both Instagram and TikTok. Be sure to give us a follow. That way you can weigh in throughout the week on the various videos, and you'll probably see your comment featured during this segment of community comments. So we wanted to hear from you guys on who you think is going to be winning the NFC South. And this is what you guys had to say. Of course, Nestor there leading the charge. Bucks will be a circus. Saints have a few lingering health legal issues. Falcons have a way of screwing things up. I trust the Panthers. There you go.
And I don't even know why we needed to do the first segment.
Right. Green.
I mean, that's pretty concise.
Yeah, he wraps it up pretty nicely there. Green Loki says Falcons and Panthers gonna shock the world. Day Day is daddy. Panthers or the Saints.
What's the name?
Day Day is daddy.
Day Day is daddy.
Yep.
Okay. All right. How you doing, Day Day?
Someone says Panthers. Brado says Saints or Falcons.
What is with this wishy-washer picking two teams?
I don't get it.
Have some
Thought it was
conviction
clear, just
picking your
who's-
losers.
Only one team can win, folks. Aaron says Falcons easily. All they need is Ritter to be just okay. If he's not, then Heineke will lead them.
Damn right.
What? You know, I mean, Heineke's got some big games, but you know.
Someone says Bucks. Someone says Saints. My favorite one. Last one. What's that?
Who said the Buck? Who? Yeah. We need to drug test that person.
Their name is Coxswain. So take that for what it's worth.
Now I know why you didn't say the name in the beginning.
Last one is D-Peck. He says, gotta be the Saints if Michael Thomas stays healthy.
Okay, so
I
it's
said,
not going to be the Saints.
Right. I replied to him and said, so not the Saints.
So not them.
A nice big
The
if.
Florida Lee is not going to be reigning champs in the NFC South. That is ridiculous.
So thanks to the folks that decided to speak their voice on who they think is winning the NFC South. I can't wait to get to some more winning divisions after this week.
The fact that there's so many losers, yet teams are picking two teams. That
I know.
It's going to be one of these two.
Right. Like,
Someone's got to win it with a losing record. It's like,
gotta love the internet. All right, so let's get into what's up with that for the week. This is where we air out our grievances with the world of sports this week, where Nestor, I think, is going on week 3 or 4 of having no grievances with the world of sports.
are you serious?
I have no enemies. I have no grievances. All optimism over here.
It's crazy to me, but that just means that the rest of us can make up for Nestor's lack of a pick.
He's
so
that happy that Miami got messy, huh?
I mean,
Yeah, when does he make his debut?
what happened?
When does Messi debut?
When does Messi make his debut?
It might be the next game because he's already training. So
Uh-huh.
he's already in training.
that'll be
so.
interesting.
And the good thing is, since we're on the topic, I'm happy.
Since you guys,
They're getting Busquets too. Busquets played with him in Barca, and he's a central piece of that midfield. So that's gonna be really good for that team because they suck right now. They're like bottom of the barrel.
I like how Jalen literally goes, like he has any idea who Busquets is. He has no idea.
He's not French. He is. Oh, give me a second. Well, it's not gonna come to mind.
Trying really hard.
But he was there when Neymar was there, right? On Barca.
Yeah, he's one of the OGs. He's Spanish. He's one of the OGs. So
Spanish, yeah. Anyway, let's get into what's up with that. So I will go first on this one. So DeAndre Hopkins goes to Titans. And up until like maybe the day or two before he actually signed with them, it seemed like the Patriots were the favorite to sign him. And I just don't know how we fumbled that one because as void as we are at the wide receiver position when it comes to just pure talent, you would think that we would have done everything possible to go get DeAndre Hopkins. And clearly that did not happen because it was like overnight, all of a sudden, the betting odds completely switched into the Titans' favor, like heavily. For I don't know what happened, how Vegas knew that was coming, but that was that. I just don't understand how we just cannot seem to ever sign a big name to our damn offense. Really on either side of the ball, but
you guys lost Nelson Aguilar, so that's a big
yeah,
loss
we
for you guys.
had to let him go.
Shucks.
Sad to see him
didn't
go.
it come down to guaranteed money? I mean, the money was similar. It was just that Tennessee gave him more guaranteed money.
Yeah.
So as much
just-
as people want to talk about, they want to talk about winning, and I want to win a championship. No, I want to win a championship and get paid.
Right.
And if I'm not going to win a championship or go to a team where I can win a championship, then just pay me.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if he wanted a championship that bad, he could have gone to Kansas City.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Tennessee's not going to win a championship, and New England's not going to win a championship this year.
Right.
Kansas City was your best shot of winning, winning a championship.
Right. If that really was his number one priority, but that he came to the Patriots and probably got a nice look around, but like Bill Belichick's not rolling out the red carpet for anybody. He probably was just like, all right, this is where we practice. Like, can you play? Are you healthy?
This is where you put your dirty towels.
Right. This is where your locker will be over here.
These are all the parking spots you can't park in.
Right.
These are the ones you can't. We have this one reserved for Aaron Hernandez. It's famous.
We maintain that
It was
one.
in the news. Helicopter footage. Only high-class people play for this game.
I'm sure the players were like, happy to see him and were probably pretty welcoming, but Belichick is just not the kind of guy who was gonna, wine and dine anybody. But probably went to Tennessee and they was like a king coming to town, and they just probably wowed him. He was like, "Oh, this is a lot better than the other spot." And you guys gonna pay me a little more? It's like, why can't we just be a little warmer and welcoming to some people, and maybe they'd actually want to come to Foxborough? Like, did you ever think about that?
You kind of got to wine them, dine them now because you're a little bit removed from the Tom Brady heydays at this point.
Exactly.
So you got to spruce it up a little bit. But I just think it's funny because he did an interview where he named 5 quarterbacks that he would love to throw him the football. And those 5 quarterbacks were Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Herbert. You want to know who he didn't name? He did not name Ryan Tannehill. He did not name Malik Willis or Will Levis. I know that when he played in Houston, he had some pitiful quarterbacks throwing him the ball. And when he was in Arizona, it wasn't that much better.
Right.
But Malik Willis started 2 football games last year, played in 4, couldn't get over 200 passing yards in either game, couldn't throw a touchdown, 3 interceptions. One game he threw for 80 yards against the Chiefs, and 1 pass was 48 yards. So 1 completion was 48 yards, and the rest of it was 32. So I'm like, so it's, it's for the money. I just like Jalen. You and I were talking off the air. I don't know why the Titans didn't just pay AJ Brown.
Right.
I think he's a little bit better now at this age, less injury prone. Why they didn't just pay him?
Yeah.
But they went out and get D-Hop. I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. He will look cool in the Houston Oilers throwbacks, though. Those would be nice.
Yeah, I saw a picture that was like Tennessee Titans where star receivers go to die, and it showed like Randy Moss.
God, I forgot he played there.
Yeah, it obviously showed D-Hop now. It showed Julio Jones a couple years ago, and somebody else was in between Julio and
He
Randy
needed
Moss.
to go to New England before he went to Tennessee, because that's
Right.
where
Exactly.
you're supposed to do it.
Your last hurrah.
So, do you want to be a Hall of Famer or not, Hopkins? You got to follow.
So, yeah, that's my what's up with that. G-Money, I'm curious to hear what yours is.
So mine has to do with trades. NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball. When people start talking about trading for a player, and this team should trade, and that team should trade, without any regard to salary cap or what they can offer, it's like, why? Why? Just stop. Just do a little research before you start saying, Miami should trade. Damian Lillard wants to go to Miami from Portland. Portland should just trade him. No. First of all, he doesn't have a no trade clause. Still under contract. Portland can trade him to whoever the hell they want. In baseball, everybody's talking about Ohtani being traded because the A's suck right now, and this is his last year. But it's like, stop and think if the Angels trade him, what they want for him, and the salary cap implications, because you're gonna have to sign him to probably a 10-year, and they're talking $1 billion. $1 billion. It's $100 million a year. Anybody have any idea what the salary cap is and what the salary taxes are? The taxes are on that. Same with the NBA. You've got a luxury tax. I mean, Golden State this past season was paying $228 million in salary and $232 million in luxury tax.
Jesus.
I mean, people start talking about trades like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like we're playing fantasy, right? We can make those trades. No. Yeah, as much as I might want my team to have that player, I realize that they can't afford him. Not without getting rid of a lot of other players. And yet, it's all the same. Right now, we're coming up to the Major League Baseball trade deadline. We're still talking the NBA about trading players. Now, Beeb says he may want to be traded. I mean, they're still talking about where Harden could go. If I was Philly, number one, and I've said this before, I wouldn't sign him to an extension. I'd play him this year. You're not going to get what you think he's worth, because he's not worth that. But there are fans out there, and there are sports talk show personalities that are saying, yeah, he should go to this team, he should go to that team. But you forget that Philadelphia is asking a boatload of crap for him, and he's not worth it. And they're not going to. They do, but the freaking GM still has a love affair going on with him, and it's like, well, if you're going to take my girl, you're going to have to give me these 3 girls, a caddy, and damn it, some shit from the boys.
What?
Even though your girl is a little washed up.
Yikes. She's a little dry in the meat locker. All right.
That went sideways quick.
Well, it's not going to get any better.
Yes. What's up with that?
So, okay. This, got to figure out how I want to say this to piss off as little people as possible. I'm just going to say it. I am sick and tired of women sports athletes saying they should be paid the same amount as men. Drives me batty. Okay? You got Brittany Griner complaining about having to fly coach and how they need a charter plane. It's like, bitch, at least you got to get on the plane. You weren't stuck in Russia this time. Can we forget about the fact that if the WNBA wasn't subsidized by the NBA, thank you, men,
Right.
then that league wouldn't even exist.
Right.
You want to talk about women's sports in college? It's paid for by men's basketball and men's football, Title IX. Okay, by law, they can't get rid of them. That's why they still exist. Okay, that's why these people are getting educations. That's why they get to play a game when they're in college and get an education. It's because football and basketball are king, and they make all the money. And don't even get me. I mean, I know that the World Cup starts tonight, tomorrow, sometime. Okay, they're like the worst of all. They want equal pay.
That's right. Yeah.
Even though the 2022 Men's World Cup brought in $7.5 billion. Okay? The U.S. women won the World Cup in 2019. Want to know how much money FIFA made off of that? $300 million. Shut up and take your trophy and be happy. Like, there's a reason why salaries get up to $1 billion for 10 years by someone like Shohei Ohtani. It's because supply and demand. When people want to see it, they will pay for it. When you put butts in seats, when you get all of the endorsements, you make all the money. Okay. But over the last few years, ESPN has been shoving it down our throats. How great. Okay. Some of these are, and they're cool. You know, if I'm watching nothing else and I've had a couple too many beers and I squint my eyes, maybe it can look like the NBA. I don't know. But I'm just getting tired of it. And people say that anyone that talks bad about it, you're just a sexist. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm just a realist. Like, that's where the money is. Like, Rapinoe went Sue Bird's retirement and said that Sue Bird had the greatest career of any athlete ever. Sue Bird. Now, I love Sue Bird. She was Seattle Storm. Okay. Won a national championship. Won a couple WNBA championships. It's almost like Rapinoe's never heard of Tom Brady. Right. Michael Jordan. Larry Bird. Magic Johnson. Joe Montana. Just a few. We're not even getting into like Messi and them. Right. Pele, Tiger Woods. Muhammad Ali. I mean, come on. Mike Tyson went to jail, but I still think he's better. Yeah. I mean, so can we stop? Just stop it.
I agree.
You could go to tennis and find 4 great athletes before you find a.
Yeah. Let's just bring up tennis.
But I want to add to that though.
Go ahead.
Jalen, you remember the video I sent you?
Yes.
Oh damn.
That's why I sent Jalen
It's
video.
Very ironic, but
you guys can watch it later if you get a chance. But there's like 2 scenarios in that video. The first one is they're interviewing people as if they watch the WNBA, and in one scenario there's like these most progressive guys you could ever imagine. This guy has tight denim shorts. His man is looking fabulous. He's prancing all over the place. And they ask him, would you like $1 or a ticket to a WNBA game? And he thinks about it. He's like, well, the ticket probably costs more, so I probably want the ticket.
This video.
You know what?
I went for the $1.
Give me the $1. Give me the $1. And then the last guy, he's like, I'm gonna give you $100 if you can guess what your team is for the WNBA in this city. And the stadium is right behind him, and you can see the name of the WNBA team right behind him. He's like, I don't know. He's like, it's right behind you. It says it right there. I'm like, damn it. And then he's like, what's the player on that team? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, right behind you, right there.
It's just like
nobody cares.
In the WNBA All-Star game, everyone was hyping up this dunk by Brittany Griner. And I was like, I've been in high school gyms with 17-year-olds that can do a more athletic dunk than that. Like, what are we hyping up here?
Yeah.
Why is it so? I don't know.
I mean, we're hyping the fact that it's a woman dunking it. Because, yeah, you're right. I mean, probably seen junior high guys dunk better than that.
Yep.
But I guarantee you, any one of those WNBA players against any one of us kick our asses.
Oh, they would.
They could spot us 8 baskets played out of 10, kick our asses.
Oh, they could spot me more than that.
Yeah,
if we're
I
playing
think
the
they
10,
would.
they could spot me 9.
You know what? I put you up against Brittany Griner. She would grind on you. But no,
I would quit. I don't care how much money is on the line.
I mean, I could see women's soccer, at least the national team, getting paid as much as the men's national team because, well, I mean, the men's national team, they suck. They do. They suck.
They
They
suck,
can go play in Europe
but they're
and come
entertaining
back,
to watch.
and they still suck. I mean, didn't they just lose to fucking Jamaica, man? I mean, they fucking lose to teams you shouldn't lose to. When they went to South Africa, I think they were the 12th ranked team in the world at the time. And they sucked. I mean, they just aren't good. And the coaches aren't good. But yeah, they get paid all this money to be not good, to be disappointing. Maybe we pay the women because they actually win. If we pay winners because they win, then in this case, on the national stage, then maybe the men will perform a little better. Going like, well, why don't we get paid more than women? Maybe you need to fucking win. Maybe you need to win something for the country. And really, the women's basketball team, national basketball team, has done better than the men's. That's the sad thing,
The only
too.
problem is
Especially
that
when you look at
not as many people care, though. That's why they don't bring in the revenue.
Right.
Like, I agree. Like, women's basketball on the national team has done better than the men's national team. Now, I think that the men's national team in 92 and in the 90s did a better job of growing the national game to where it's tougher for the national men to compete. And I do think we have superior athletes in the United States when it comes to women's programs.
Shit, you had a team that had Magic Johnson,
well,
Larry Bird.
But they
fucking,
grew.
I mean, you
but
had
they
nothing.
grew.
You had the best
I know,
of the best.
but they grew the sport.
You didn't grow. I mean, after the run where you had the best of the best, you had a stretch there where you didn't have the best of the best.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though.
You had just NBA players.
That's
and they got
exactly
their
what
asses kicked. They got their asses kicked in the Pan Am games.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Where they
Is
should
that
have been
the men's team grew the sport globally to where more people were playing it, to where after 12 years, you couldn't just put any NBA players in there and win the gold anymore,
Right.
because you had really good players overseas. I mean, Wembanyama is coming from overseas.
Right.
Giannis coming from overseas. Dirk, Jokic.
Look, you had Tony Kukoc come from overseas before all of that.
Yeah,
and he was the greatest player in Europe.
Yeah, he got smacked.
I mean,
around
you
by
know, so
Jordan
don't
Pippen.
give me that. You had
So-
Barcelona's. Don't give me that shit.
Okay,
That's
no,
bullshit.
Tony
They
Kukoc,
have good
Tony
European players.
Kukoc
I mean,
is
that's
nowhere
that's-
near as good
I mean,
as the team is the
who the
players are
game
now.
is on the
You're
national
out
team.
of
The
your
NBA
goddamn
team.
mind if you think that. Tony Kukoc
I mean-
is nowhere
I mean,
near the
the
talent that
N-
any of these guys are now. Nowhere near the talent.
NBA.
Yeah, the NBA
then
did a
you get the
wonderful job
argument that,
marketing the game.
Was Michael Jordan the same talent as LeBron James? I mean, different times. I
You're
mean,
insane.
you know,
Absolutely
it's the fact that men's basketball grew tremendously in the mid 80s through the mid 90s worldwide, and that was
And why did that
basically
happen?
because of Michael Jordan.
And what else?
Straight up, because of Michael Jordan. They didn't even start playing on the Olympics. When were they? That was in fucking in Spain when they went to the first Olympics where they actually had
That was Barcelona,
NBA players.
That was 92.
When was that? Come
92.
On. You were still a child at the time.
That's right smack dab in the middle of the time frame that you said that the NBA took on a global stage in basketball. So you're welcome. It's right in the middle of the time frame you just gave.
This is true.
But that was 92. But before then, it was already growing globally. And the U.S. field, for them to win, they had to have the NBA players playing because they were getting their ass handed to them before that.
Yeah, because they were taking
You had
college
players
kids.
that were European players were beating the college players.
Yes, but they were not beating NBA players back then.
That's why the NBA
they
the
beat them
United
now,
States
though.
and the NBA decided that they should allow. They made a push to allow professionals to play, not just in as you notice, it kept on growing. It wasn't just basketball. Then it was tennis. It became the Olympics used to be for basically amateurs, ostensibly, and now it's actually more of just another tournament, international tournament, because soccer now has all pro players, basketball. Pretty much the only thing, skiing is all professional. Ice skating isn't because let's be honest. What do you do after you've won a gold? I mean, you go to Disney on Ice. I mean, you know, I mean.
No, they're probably cutting that
kind of
out.
screwed after that. In gymnastics, there's no pro gymnastic league, so you know once you're done with that, you know, you become a coach. But no, the NBA's push to grow its brand was part of that, because there was a time in the 70s when the NBA just wasn't that interesting and nobody really cared about it. The NFL and Major League Baseball were the top two dogs. And the NBA saw that and they realized they had to grow their brand. They had to get players. And they just got lucky enough that Magic and Larry came out. And then Michael came out. And they utilized them to grow their brand internationally.
In the Olympics.
And then once they actually got the opportunity to build the dream team in Barcelona, and there's no one that could stop that team. There's absolutely no one on the planet that could stop that team. I mean, you had the only college player I think on that team, on the 92 team, was Christian Laettner.
Yep.
And I think that the rest were, I mean, how is it when you have Charles Barkley sitting on the bench? You have Patrick Ewing. I mean, you see these players and they're, you know, you're like, oh my God, you know, I saw this guy on TV and now here he is playing here. That helped grow the NBA brand tremendously. And it did help create better European players. But the other thing that helped was that NBA players that couldn't play in the NBA anymore went to Europe to continue their career.
Yep. So anyways, women, stop talking about
you know,
how fate equals. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I think it's Jalen's turn. And what bugs him should be me.
Jalen already went.
And
I went 30 minutes
show
ago.
like that.
Yeah, that will do it for this week's show. We want to thank you all for watching, for listening. I was gonna make a Shaq reference, but I'm not even gonna. You'll see Shaq whenever you see him. So,
It's hard to miss him.
right.
He will not sneak up on anybody.
I hope he's back before we hover over his division. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
We wish him the best of luck, and we hope to see him in the near future.
Right. We'll just keep postponing the AFC North until whenever he's back. So, yeah. Anything else you guys want to say before we get up out of here?
That's good.
Alrighty. We will talk to you all next week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and until then, peace.
Peace.